Jerome Beecher, also known as Slyde, has been affiliated with Masters of Evil and the Thunderbolts. His notable aliases include the Teflon-coated man. His abilities include a skilled chemist. He wears a chemical-laced suit that grants the ability to move at superhuman speeds, incredible maneuverability, and the ability to easily escape from a grappling hold.
Jerome Beecher was a chemical engineer who created a non-stick coating that could be applied to anything, only to be fired by his employers. He created a costume coated in the substance and decided to use it to rob banks.
His all-white bodysuit allowed him to slide across floors with relative ease and renders him impervious to Spider-Man's webbing. The suit has pads on the gloves so that Slyde can grip objects without them slipping from his grasp.
Slyde was part of the seventh such group called the Masters of Evil when the criminal team tangled with the Thunderbolts. Ironic because the Thunderbolts are mostly made up of reformed members of the Masters of Evil. Upon the realization that he was turning 40 soon, he got a new costume, gave himself a new and fictional origin, and made an attempt at robbing a bank with henchmen. It was all a ploy to lure Spider-Man out in order to fight him.
In the end, on the way to jail, he mused that, knowing that he went toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, he is entirely all right with middle age. Slyde was apparently killed by the sword of Elektra, who was presumed dead and resurrected by the Hand.
This was later revealed to be Jerome's stepbrother Matt, wearing Jerome's costume and using the Slyde identity while Jerome was in prison. Slyde is among the army of criminals recruited by Zemo and his Thunderbolts to serve as hero hunters during the events of the Sokovia Act incident. Jerome as Slyde again, along with Trapster, met with mob boss Hammerhead, who was attempting to organize a group of super criminals to take advantage of the Sokovia Act incident between the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D.
However, Slyde balked at the proposal. He was shot in the back of the head and apparently killed by Hammerhead's enforcer Underworld in order to send a message to those who would refuse to join Hammerhead's organization.
The chemicals on Slyde's suit allow him to move at nearly 30 miles per hour. He is almost impossible to grasp, and he is incredibly maneuverable. He is also a skilled chemist.
The Rose is the alias of 4 criminals. Rose normally appears as a well-dressed, calm, calculating, and gentleman-like crime lord who favors roses and wears a leather, lilac-colored mask.
The first Rose was Richard Fisk, the son of Wilson Fisk, who sought to overthrow his father after learning he was the kingpin of crime. He later became a Punisher-like vigilante, calling himself Blood Rose. He was eventually shot dead by his own mother, Vanessa Fisk.
The second Rose was a Sergeant Bloom, a police officer seeking revenge on the Kingpin for the death of his brother, another policeman. While Bloom allied himself with Richard in hopes of doing good by breaking the Kingpin's hold on the city, he ended up implicated in several crimes while in the Kingpin's service.
He was ultimately shot and killed in a confrontation with Richard's men in the Catskills after he had kidnapped May Parker and Mary Jane Watson, mistakenly thinking that Peter Parker had discovered information during an investigation for the Daily Bugle that would blow the lid off the entire Kingpin's organization, thus revealing Bloom as a double agent.
The third Rose was Jacob Conover, a reporter at the Daily Bugle, who took up the identity as payment for saving the life of crime lord Don Fortunato many years earlier. This Rose was loyal solely to Fortunato, as at the time the Kingpin had not returned to power, and his principal enforcer was the cyborg powerhouse known as Delilah.
Conover faced a repeated threat to his territory from the Argentinian crime lord known as the Black Tarantula, eventually being present without his Rose disguise when the Tarantula launched a direct assault on Fortunato's home. Preparing to gun down the Tarantula in a room full of witnesses, Conover was stopped by Spider-Man and carted off to jail.
The fourth Rose was Dr. Philip Hayes. He took up the Rose persona after he lost his funding in gene therapy research after an incident in the Felcorp's laboratory, a result of which was the new hero, Jackpot. He deals in ebony shipments, a synthesized drug created from corruptor sweat glands.
He managed to slip under S.H.I.E.L.D's radar for a while, but Jackpot was getting closer to discovering his involvement. He hires Boomerang to track Jackpot down at her house and murders her husband in front of her and her daughter. He is later arrested and unmasked, much to Jackpot's shock.
The Roses have no superhuman powers. Richard Fisk is trained in the use of guns and has some martial arts training. Sergeant Bloom is a trained police officer. And Jacob Conover is trained in the use of firearms and has a number of criminal contacts. The Roses always carried a handgun and often carried a variety of mini grenades.